Greetings, fellow Whovians. Hope you're all having an amazing week. I know I am. I do want to talk about two things before I get to reviewing the chase. First things first, I want to show you guys this. It is the 12th Doctor's second sonic screwdriver. I just got this yesterday. It's really cool. It has blue and green light settings, and so I'm going to show them to you guys right now. Let's see here. That's the green one, and then if you press this up, it does this. It press the activator thing up 2 times, it does this. Pretty sweet. And put it down for the blue setting. And if you press it down 2 times, it does this. Pretty cool. It also came with 3 cards. Got the 12th Doctor, Clara, and Missy. Pretty sweet. So yeah, I got that yesterday, and so yeah. The other thing I want to talk about is that there's 7 months left to go until the new Doctor Who Christmas special. Yeah, yes, that's right, Whovians, you heard me. We have to wait 7 more months for all new Doctor Who now. I don't know if I could stand that wait. I don't know if you guys can, but if you're able to find a way to get through the wait, then I applaud you. But I'm finding ways to be patient with having to wait 7 months for all new Doctor Who. Yay! Anyway, with that being said, let's get right down to it. Here's my review of The Chase. In the TARDIS, the 4 travelers are all huddling around the Time-Space Visualer, a television-like souvenir from the recent adventure at the Space Museum, which can pick up on any past event in the whole of time and space. The TARDIS then lands, and the Doctor confirms that the conditions are hospitable. Ian and Vicky leave to explore the desert wilderness. They find an ancient trapdoor in the sand. Inside, they are trapped and become haunted by hostile tentacle creatures called Mire beasts. Ugh. Meanwhile, the Doctor and Barbara are sunbathing. Oh, how nice. But they see on the visualizer a broadcast of the dogs preparing to give a report. The dogs plan to follow the enemy time machine, the TARDIS, to the Sagaro Desert on the planet Iridius. The dogs plan to take the TARDIS, find the Doctor and his companions, and exterminate them. The Doctor and Barbara watch the incursion squad embark and dematerialize. The Doctor immediately realizes that these events happened in the past. The dogs may already be here. They must find Ian and Vicky and leave immediately. After a sandstormy night, the Doctor and Barbara see the dogs emerging from the sands. The dogs cannot find the time travelers, but they do locate the TARDIS under the sand and begin to have it dug out by a group of native Iridians whom they enslaved. The slave force is exterminated when they are of no further value. Doctor and Barbara are saved by another amphibious humanoid Iridians. The Iridians also find Vicky and Ian, who were injured when a wall collapsed in an explosion used to kill the Mire beasts that were threatening them. The Mire beasts soon reappear, killing the Iridian Malsen, who was holding the party prisoner in preparation for the handover. The Doctor and his friends flee in the confusion and manage to evade a dog scout and get back to the TARDIS. There now follows a chase through time and space, with the dog vessel determined to track down and exterminate the Doctor and his friends. The dogs are but 15 minutes behind and the gap is closing. The first stop is the top of the Empire State Building in New York in 1966. The Doctor then reaches the Atlantic Ocean and boards the sailing ship Mary Celeste. The crew ventures outside and are mistaken for stowaways. They sneak away in the TARDIS as the crew searches the ship for them. Soon the Daleks arrive and the frightened crew abandon ship, all jumping overboard. The next point of landing is a mysterious old house where both Dracula and Frankenstein's monster have come alive. These terrors stalk the building, but also attack the incursion squad when they arrive. In the confusion to depart, the Doctor, Ian, and Barbara leave Vicky behind, never realizing that they have simply been visiting a futuristic theme attraction called the Festival of Ghana in 1996. The dogs are repelled back into their vessel by the monsters, who are in fact robots, and Vicky stows away aboard the Dalek ship. She travels in it to the jungle world of Mechanus, where the Doctor's TARDIS has already landed. On the Dalek ship, Vicky witnesses the Dalek's replicator machine in action. An android replica of the Doctor is produced and is programmed to kill the original Doctor and his companions. When the Dalek ship arrives in Mechanis, the robot killer is dispatched. The jungle is also hostile, with large fungoid plants, which attack humans and only retreat when exposed to light. After a while, the four travelers are united, but the robot Doctor also appears. Both Doctors claim to be the real one, and fight ensues between Ian and the real Doctor. The robot Doctor mistakenly calls Vicky the name of Susan. Barbara realizes the mistake and yells at Ian that this is the robot. The real Doctor stamps it with his stick. The next morning, the Doctor notices that there is a vast metal city over the jungle and decides to venture into the structure. Within moments, the robot mechanoids arrive and capture them, taking them to the city. There they are locked in a cage-like room with a disheveled man named Stephen Taylor, an astronaut from Earth who crash-landed on the planet 2 years earlier and has been kept as a prisoner by the mechanoids since then. But the Daleks now attack the city, so it is time for action. The Doctor and his party and Stephen manage to escape from the city down some cables, while the mechanoids and Daleks become involved in a pitched battle which devastates both sides as well as the building. The four companions flee to safety but are separated from Stephen, whom they presume to have been killed. They find the deserted Dalek time machine and persuade the Doctor to show Ian how to operate it. After a tearful farewell, Ian and Barbara return to their own planet at last, and almost to their own time, being 2 years out of London in 1965. The machine is destroyed using the auto-destruct mechanism once Ian and Barbara are out of it. Well, guess that means in this story we had to say goodbye to not one, but two companions, Ian and Barbara, who were both mainstays of the show. Anyway, let's look at the continuity and production elements of this episode, shall we? It is not explained how, in this story, the Daleks know of the Doctor, his companions, and the TARDIS, nor the specific reason for the execution mission. However, the robot duplicate believes the Doctor's companions to be Ian, Barbara, and Susan, indicating that they have knowledge of the events of the previous story, the Dalek invasion of Earth, but not subsequent stories, such as the Daleks' master plan. This is the first story in which Daleks sport solar panels around their midsections, thus making them energy independent. This feature will remain throughout the rest of the show's history until the new paradigm Daleks introduced in Victory of the Daleks. In the Dalek invasion of Earth, the Daleks used dishes to receive energy from a central antenna, and in the Daleks, they drew static electricity from the metal floors of their city. It is strongly implied in the story that the Daleks have the power of flight. They are seen moving on 2 levels of the Mary Celeste, and the cliffhanger to the first episode shows a Dalek that has been buried in a sand free itself by rising vertically. It would not be until Revelation of the Daleks in 1985 that Dalek would actually be shown airborne. Sorry. This is one of the few Dalek stories to incorporate humor, and this is the only story to attempt comical performances from the Daleks, including a Dalek coughing as it emerges from the sand, and on Iridius, a stammering Dalek who cannot do mental arithmetic, 3 Daleks using their eye stalks to nod in agreement, a Dalek shouting "Yarg" as it tumbles off the Mary Celeste, and a Dalek getting annoyed with his subordinate. When Ian asks to use Barbara's cardigan in episode 2, she sighs and says, "Not again." The companions had unraveled another of her cardigans in the Space Museum. William Shakespeare and Elizabeth I both reappear in the 10th Doctor episode, The Shakespeare Code, one of my personal favorites. The Daleks return to the Empire State Building in the 10th Doctor episodes, Daleks in Manhattan / Evolution of the Daleks, not one of my favorites. In Doctor Who Confidential, Russell T. Davies comments that he likes to imagine that they stored the Empire State Building in their memory banks and returned there deliberately as a result. Interesting. The Big Finish Productions' Brittany Summerfield audio adventure, The Grill Escape, is a spoof of this story. Another Big Finish story, The Juggernauts, features the 6th Doctor having to deal with resurrected mechanoids. This story also features the Daleks. Terry Nation's original title for the story was The Pursuers. There were several changes made from his original proposal in the finished serial. In the original storyline, the TARDIS crew would witness on the visualizer Shakespeare discussing with his wife the possibility of allowing Francis Bacon to use his name on Bacon's plays, as well as a speech by Winston Churchill. Ian and Vicky would see through the sands the vast underground Iridian city, and Ian and Barbara would not return home to Earth at the end of the serial. Aww. Some of the Daleks appearing in the serial were created by Shawcraft models for the Doctor Who and the Daleks film in 1965. Although the plan had been to refurbish them to resemble the television Daleks, this proved to be impractical, and the 3 hired dogs were only used in the background of shots. As the chase was broadcast before the movie was released, this marks the first appearance of the movie Daleks. Very interesting. The shots of Ian and Barbara on Earth in the final episode were made during shooting for the next story, The Time Mailer, and were directed by that serial's director Douglas Camfield. Hugh Walters later played Runcible in The Deadly Assassin and Vogel in Revelation of the Daleks. He also played Roderick Allingham in the audio play The Fearmonger. Dennis Chernery later played Garmin in Genesis of the Daleks and Sylvester in The Twin Dilemma. Roger Hammond later played Dr. Runciman in Mildred Undead, and Harold Withers in the audio play The Eternal Summer. Martin Dill, the young man from Alabama who the travelers meet at the top of the Empire Space Building, was played by Peter Purves, who would appear in the last episode as Stephen Taylor. Earlier drafts of the story uses the name Brooke and Michael for the character of the captured astronaut before settling on Stephen. The story also features the Beatles in a film clip. It was originally planned for the band to appear as themselves, but under heavy aging makeup to represent themselves in the future. However, their manager, Brian Epstein, objected to them appearing on the program. Thus, footage from the BBC pop music chart program Top of the Pops of the group performing Ticket to Ride was used instead. Ooh, that was a lot, huh? So, do I recommend this classic story for new Doctor Who, for basically fans of modern Doctor Who? Yes and no. Yes, because it introduces a new companion, but no, because I feel like in order to be more emotionally invested in the departure of Ian and Barbara, you have to have seen pretty much all the episodes they were in order to, be emotionally invested in their departure. So, yeah. Other than that, I definitely think that this is a very solid story, and I give Doctor Who, The Chase, 3 sonic screwdrivers out of 5. Well, join me next time as we see the Doctor, Stephen and Vicky encounter a renegade Time Lord who is not the Master, but someone else. Anyway, until next time, this is Hooping Queen saying, "Oh my Gideons! When I say run, run! I've reversed the polarity of the neutron flow. Would you like a jelly, baby? Fantastic! Allons-y! Geronimo! Bow ties are cool, fezzes are cool, and Stetsons are cool."